Hey, you guys. Hello, hello. So, welcome. For some, welcome. For others, welcome back. This is actually part two of a two-part series on could AI really replace these jobs? That was the title of the first one. But this is essentially about several jobs, really a number of jobs that Bill Gates and some others, but in particular Bill Gates, because he's done several interviews about this, where he expects these jobs to be replaced by 2028. 2028, yes. So we are not talking long term. We're not talking in the next 10, 15 years. We are talking in the next 3, and in some other cases, 3 to 5 years, because many of these jobs, and we're just going to talk about a few in this video, but there are a number of jobs that are expected to be replaced by AI by either 2028 or 2030. So again, we're talking really within the next 5 or roughly 5 years. And if you didn't see the first video, I invite you to check that out. More than likely, you're seeing this on the YouTube channel, Black Wealth Digital Blueprint, Black Wealth Digital Blueprint. If you're not seeing it on that channel, I invite you to go check out that channel on YouTube, especially if you are Black, but even if you are brown, if you are non-melanin, if you are a woman, you should go check out that channel, because it is all about, it does target the Black wealth gap, and it examines how we can narrow the Black wealth gap with AI and other digital strategies. But it doesn't just affect Black people. It's not only about Black people, because when Black people are out of the job market in disproportionate numbers, it can impact everyone. It can impact the entire economy. So again, I invite you to go over to the Black Wealth Digital Blueprint channel. And if you're already there, then welcome. Hello. I invite you to subscribe if this resonates, if you want to continue to get great information and content like this. So we're going to jump in, and just as a brief summary, we talked about 4 to 5 jobs that Bill Gates projects to be replaced by AI within the next really 3 years or so, again, by 2028. So again, you should check out that first video, because some of those jobs you may have heard the same thing. You know, it may not really surprise you, but some others you may be a bit surprised to find out those jobs are being replaced, because let me say, many of the jobs that AI is expected to replace, they are not all quote unquote low level, low skilled jobs. They're not all blue collar jobs. There are definitely some white collar jobs included. There are some degreed jobs, or jobs that require degrees, that are also expected to be replaced by AI. So there's that. Okay, so we're going to jump to the next part of what we did not cover in the first video. So the next job that AI is expected to replace, that Bill Gates in particular expects AI to replace by 2028, is admin. And that's not just one type of job, frankly. I mean, that includes several jobs, but pretty much just about anything in the admin space. So receptionists, secretaries, executive assistants, office managers. You can see here on the slide, it describes some of the tasks as well that these roles tend to take on. scheduling appointments, managing paperwork, organizing office operations. Sometimes it's filing. Sometimes it's storing things, whether physical or digital, all that kind of stuff that's considered to be admin work. And scheduling appointments is not necessarily just scheduling meetings, scheduling appointments for prospective clients or actual clients. That could be travel. It could be scheduling travel. That is a major task for a number of assistants. I remember one of my old jobs when I was in corporate. We shared an assistant. We had a team assistant. Our team had about 5 people. It wasn't a very big team. So we had one assistant that we all shared. And that was a major thing for her. That was one of her biggest tasks because we traveled a lot. So one of her biggest tasks was scheduling our travel. That is something that can be done by AI, that can almost be automated. And I'm saying almost now, more than likely, eventually it will be able to be completely automated. And so those are all examples of things that can be done through automation, through different types of AI. So let me tell you, in particular, my Black people, if you are a secretary, if you are an executive assistant, if you are any kind of receptionist, if you are an office manager, and let me say, there are office managers who really do run the office. Like there are many of these roles. Many of these roles up until this point, in a lot of cases, are important roles. I'm not, I don't take anything from these people. I love the very assistant I was just talking about. We loved her. She was great. But let me just reiterate, even if you are great, even if you are damn near running the office you're in, you may even be running an entire division. But if you do primarily admin work, your job is not secure. I don't completely agree, and I talked about this in the first video. I don't completely agree with Bill Gates, and I'm not the only one, because some of you may be like, well, who are you to disagree with Bill Gates? And he's the founder of Microsoft, and he's this and he's that. He's a big tech titan, one of the richest men in the country, in the world. I get it, yada, yada, yada. However, he can be wrong, though, but it's not just me who disagrees with him and this timeline he has. There are others who also don't see these jobs going away, and certainly not completely going away by 2028 or by 2030. So all of these roles, these jobs I'm talking about, no, they may not be gone completely by 2028, but they are going to be impacted without a doubt. And there will be less of these jobs. More than likely, there will be less, and perhaps even significantly less of these jobs available. Because again, most of what they involve, most of the tasks, most of the responsibilities of these roles, AI can do. AI is doing. There are chatbots that are already doing some of this work. There's AI agents already doing right now, like mid 2025. Actually, it's August 2025. Yes, a lot of this work is already being done. So just please keep that in mind. This report that you see on the slide, that was taken from a report, from a Deloitte report, estimates that administrative roles could shrink by up to 30%. All right, so note that number, up to 30% in 5 years, due to AI enhanced scheduling and task management systems. Okay, so that is the first job or type of job that's expected to go away or certainly be decreased by 2028. admin. All right. All right, let's go to another one. Next one, proofreaders and translators. So those of you, or you may know people who are bilingual, maybe they're trilingual, and you have been so impressed. And again, maybe this is you, and maybe you are impressive because you can speak two or more languages, and that is impressive. So again, I take nothing from you. But if your primary job is to translate, your job is at risk. Now, if you do other things, plus you speak more than one language, now that's different. You may be more in demand. You may have more security in the workplace. But if primarily what you do is translate, that is definitely something that AI is doing. Not to mention there are apps, there are tools like Grammarly, DeepL that's mentioned here on this slide. All of that also translates and proofreads. So again, if that is your primary role, if that is really what you get paid to do, to proofread and or translate, you're at risk. You need to definitely prepare and plan to pivot. No, there's a lot of P's, plan and prepare to pivot, upskill, get you a side hustle if you do not already have that. And really the main point I want to communicate, and what I've been communicating in both of these videos, is you want to use AI, leverage AI. You need to happen to AI rather than just letting AI happen to you. Okay? Leverage AI. Again, up level your skills, learn some new skills related to AI, driven by AI, get some certifications, because AI is driving a lot. It's driving a lot between the workplace, the economy, business. So the more you know about AI and the more you can leverage AI for your benefit, the better. All right. Okay, let's move on. And the next type of job, which this covers a lot, all right? This covers a number of jobs, entry level jobs. Bill Gates actually said in an interview that he expects as much as 50%, 50% of entry level jobs to be replaced by 2030. Now, I think in that interview, it wasn't 2028, but it was 2030, which is still not long. And from where we are now, we're still talking about 4.5 to 5 years. Okay. Entry level jobs, of course, that includes a number of different jobs. Some of the examples shown here, and this gets back to admin, clerical and data processing, tasks like filing. I mentioned some of this before, filing, basic data entry, transcribing, all of that is stuff that can be done by AI. Retail, basic retail and service. So I think we all pretty much know, if you don't realize that just about any kind of cashier, is not a really secure job for the long term. Like cashiers, please don't hang your hat on being a cashier for the next 5 to 10 years. If you are a cashier now, and a lot of people are cashiers not because they want to be, because they need to be. For a number of people, it's a part-time job. It's a big job for teenagers, for college students, sometimes retirees. Even with you guys, if that describes you, just know that you're probably not going to have that job long term. So take advantage now. If that is a job you need to work now, do so. But please have a plan, develop a plan to get another job or to do something else, because That is something where the writing has been on the wall really for quite a while with the increase in self-checkout lanes. I mean, you go, and I don't go in Walmart a lot. I do order from Walmart occasionally, but I try not to go in Walmart a lot. Maybe Walmart neighborhood markets, because that's smaller and everything. There's just uh, there's several reasons. I try not to go in Walmart that much. But when you do go in Walmart, you can tell there are hardly no human cashiers in Walmart. There are so many more self-checkout lanes. Okay, that's telling you something. All right. Other examples of entry-level jobs, of course, are found in manufacturing, production lines. And you guys, some of these jobs, black people are overrepresented in these jobs. That also applies to customer service. That applies to food service. That applies to production and some of this stuff we're talking about. We are overrepresented in those jobs, which means we are going to especially be affected, especially if we don't make a plan. We're not prepared for that major shift that's really already started, but it's definitely more of a shift is coming. Okay. So again, if you are a Black person in any of these fields, if you are a Black college student and you're thinking, I'm going to get out of school and I'm going to get an entry level job, you need to be really selective. You need to do your research and make sure that the entry level job you're looking to get, that it's still going to be there. That it is still in demand, that it requires the type of skills, high value skills, emotional intelligence skills. It involves more soft skills. Now, those jobs have more security, at least for the time being. But if you are going into an entry level job, or you think you're going into an entry level job that has repetitive tasks. It involves a lot of data entry. I can give you a few other examples because this is not all about blue collar jobs. I think I said that before as well. There are a number of white collar jobs that are expected to be replaced by AI. So other examples of entry level, there's an expectation that industries like finance, consulting, those will be impacted in terms of the entry level jobs within those areas, finance and consulting. You think about at a bank, personal banker. Personal banker. Some of you know about that. Some of you may have been a personal banker. I was never actually a personal banker, but I was very familiar. I am pretty familiar with a personal banker because one of my first jobs out of college was with JP Morgan Chase. Now, I actually worked in a call center, and that also that is another job that is not really secure. Call center usually involves customer service or some type of customer support, client support. Again, there are some exceptions. There are usually always, and I hesitate to say always, there are often exceptions to every rule. But for the most part, if you work in a call center, it's usually service driven. Now, sometimes it's sales, but even with sales, if you are on the phone all day, you're calling people or you're taking calls, a lot of that is going to be phased out by AI. So those are examples of entry level jobs. You guys, I don't know how many people, some of my friends, people I went to college with. I know a number of people who started their careers in a call center, started their career in some type of CSR role, customer service representative. Those are examples of entry level jobs. And as I was saying, with a personal banker, usually a personal banker is actually in the branch. And for a lot of people, that is another example of an entry level job. You know, they're usually helping people open accounts, possibly close accounts, getting their, ordering their checks. There are these things that, yes, it's important to new customers, new bank customers, but there are things that are not necessarily, these are tasks that can be automated. At least some, if not all of them, can be automated. Now, that may not go over well with all bank customers, so in some of these cases, companies, businesses, organizations may be taking a risk in replacing some of these jobs with AI. But just keep in mind, some of this has already started. And so since it's already started, a lot of people are already kind of reprogramming themselves, and they are making the shift. And again, some may not be, just jumping up and down happy about it, but a lot of people are already getting into the mindset, this is, I'm dealing with a robot, or I'm going to be dealing with a robot, or I'm going to be dealing with an agent, like as an AI agent or a chat bot versus a human being. So as this is done gradually, more and more people will get used to this. And the other thing to keep in mind, you all, and I said this in the first video, and I think this is such an important point, in a lot of these roles, especially when you get into customer service, when you get into really anything service driven, where you deal with people, the human service people are not good. Like, a lot of customer service people suck. They suck. How many times have you called your cable company? You called your smartphone company, your telecommunications company, you call your credit card company sometimes, and you're just like, I want to chunk this phone and hit you in the throat. I know it's not just me. And I'm not thinking that just, because I'm just a violent person and I want to hurt somebody. No, I'm thinking that because I've been on the phone for 30 minutes. I've been transferred 11 times. I mean, there's a lot that happens sometimes with service, and a lot of it is not good. So you have that to contend with as well, from both customers and the employer, because both are thinking, well, hell, this human that I'm paying 20, 25, maybe even close to 30, depending on where you live, dollars an hour, you're not doing a good job. My customers are not happy, and the customer is thinking, you suck. The human service people suck. So maybe an AI will be better. Maybe a robot I'll get better service. So when you have that type of mindset, yeah, that doesn't help the case in saving human jobs. So I wanted to share this, and in, this way, providing actual data, because this is not all just my opinion. A lot of this is data. This is based on what has already happened, what is happening. A number of studies has been done, a ton of studies has been done on AI and how it's expected to affect the job market, and how it's already affecting the job market, and the jobs most expected to replace, and yada yada yada. So it's information, but I want you to go beyond information to insight. Hopefully I provided you with some insight as well as information. And if not, I invite you to do your own due diligence and really and use AI to do that. Use Perplexity, use ChatGPT. There are Gemini. There are a number of tools. There's an app called Pi, that provides, I mean, it'll tell you just about anything you ask it. But all these tools are great in terms of research and really exploring and doing deep dives into a number of topics. But there are a number of other ways that you can leverage those tools as well. So if you want to know more about that, I invite you to get the AI Unfair Advantage Playbook. That is actually a free resource, the AI Unfair Advantage Playbook. Again, if you're seeing this on YouTube, it should be in the description. So just look for that and you can grab that again for absolutely free. It is designed to give you an unfair advantage because there's a lot of information out there right now about AI tools, ChatGPT. We hear about ChatGPT all the time, and it is one of my, probably my favorite well, I don't know because I use several AI tools and AI powered tools. ChatGPT is definitely one of my favorite, but there are so many other AI tools out there, you guys, and many people are not aware of that, or they know that, but they don't know which other tools they should be using, they should know about, they should be taking advantage of. And so you will find that in the AI Unfair Advantage Playbook. There are actually 25 power tools, 25 AI power tools there and beyond ChatGPT that you absolutely need to know about, especially if you are a professional, if you are a business owner, if you need to step up your marketing, if you're in the online or the digital space, you're a content creator. You need to know about these tools. There are things you need to know that you can do with AI. There are a number of things you can do with AI and without coding. That has a lot to do with the fast growth of AI, and in particular generative AI, because in most cases, I mean, there is some coding involved to create the AI, many of these AI tools, but once you are using the tool, you don't need to code. And it allows you to do things that typically you would need to code, like creating a website. Like in most cases, especially 10 years ago, 5 years ago, to create a website, you had to code or know how to code. That's not the case anymore. And that's just one example. You know, you can create apps now without nary any code. So these are things you need to know about. So you can find all of that and more in that playbook. And there may be some other resources available as well. So check the description where you are seeing this again. And I want to share a book with you that is actually, as he describes it, Bill Gates' favorite book on AI. It's called The Coming Wave. Yeah, The Coming Wave, and it's by Mustafa Suleiman. Some of you may have heard of him. Mustafa, Mustafa, Suleiman, Suleiman, I believe. I believe that's Man. Mustafa Suleiman, author of The Coming Wave. I have not read it yet, but I do plan to get it. It does seem and sound pretty juicy from what I've heard and read about it, and based on what Bill Gates said about it. So, but the other really interesting thing, Mr. Suleiman said in that book that he expects AI to have a destabilizing impact on jobs. That's how he put it, a destabilizing impact. So if you're not positive, destabilizing, of course, is the opposite of stabilizing. So that means not going to be stable. There's going to be some instability in the job market as a result of AI. So just be mindful of that. All right, you guys, that is it for now. Again, if you are a Black professional, Black business owner, Black content creator, you want to know more about narrowing the Black wealth gap, decreasing the Black wealth gap with AI and other digital strategies, then this is the place. The Black Wealth Digital Blueprint channel on YouTube, you need to check out. Also, we're on Instagram as well. Black Wealth Digital Blueprint on Instagram. It's Black Wealth DB on Instagram. So, all right. Until next time, take care and take some action.